Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 341. And away we go.
Break your damn shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my dawn. I'm a mold breaker. Straight man, nature boy. About to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty, joined, as always, Mr. Marcus Davenport Schwann III. Marcus, what's going on, buddy? How you feeling? You made a prediction that the strike would be over, and unless I missed something, how are things going? Everything still progressing nicely, or did something happen?
Well, this week is D-Day pretty much. Today, if you see me refreshing my phone over and over again, it's because I'm looking for a status of what's going on with the strike. Apparently today, Friday, November 3rd, the AMTP has offered SAG after allegedly the best and final deal. So we shall see what happens here. They used those words before with the WGA, and those were empty words because it wasn't necessarily their best and final deal when they said it.
Okay, because obviously you're paying more attention, because I got an alert on my phone saying the best and final deal was offered to the WGA, and they took it. So
No, they did not.
So I'm not
No,
sure.
they did not. The WGA did not take what was deemed the best and final deal. What happened was WGA said no, and then they negotiated again, and that was wound up being a better and final deal. So AMTP is playing a lot of games. They also have control over the trades. So like you can't necessarily believe everything you read in the trades right now because it's slanted from the AMTP's point of view. So that's something to consider as well. But, we shall see. People are cautiously optimistic about this. The difference between the WGA and SAG right now is the fact that SAG is seriously on the clock with this deal to happen, because if a deal doesn't happen by the end of this weekend, then it looks like they're not going to be negotiating again until January.
Damn.
Well, it makes sense because then the holidays are coming up, and that means there's going to be no saving the seasons coming up for network TV. That means there's no saving like the movies. A lot of the movies are actually going to be pushed back to 2025 anyway. Now, like it looks like 2024 is going to be a very dull year as far as entertainment goes.
Great. Just what I want to hear. Fantastic.
Well, I mean, hey, the studios have to give us a better deal, man. Like, we got to eat, and we also need protection too. The biggest thing is AI. That's the thing that AMTP is looking to. That's the hill they're looking to die on right here. Is that they want to use our likeness, really with only paying us for 1 day's worth, but they keep on using it for their franchises. That's not fair.
AI is fucking ridiculous.
It really is.
The Beatles came out with a new song, okay, from old recordings and AI. The Beatles, new song. I'm 40 years old. It's 2023. Ridiculous. Insane.
I feel like that's a little different.
I'm not comparing them. I'm just talking about the subject of AI. Like, it's amazing how they could do that. Let's summarize it like you could do it for something for good, but then you can also do it for bad things, obviously. But the Beatles,
that's the same with any technology. Yeah. I mean, this could be like end of the world type of shit if it gets into the wrong hands. Joe Biden just recently, signed executive orders about AI, and whether or not that's going to hold up or not is a whole other discussion. It should hold up. Like everyone should be anti-AI or at least pro-regulation for it, because, the AI creators themselves of ChatGPT, they said that this could replace 80% of the job force. So like something has to be done about it to like, keep this in check. Biden, I think, had a similar reaction to all of us, like in awe over the technology. Like, wow, that's amazing. But then automatically like, holy shit, that's scary.
Yeah. A couple years ago on the show, there was an app I could use and it had all these celebrities' faces on them. And I could say something and it would give it back to me in a choppy, celebrity voice. But how far it's gone in such a little time, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's scary. I mean, you have Scarlett Johansson right now suing commercial for using AI likeness without her permission. You see a lot of these. They were called deep fakes, right?
Yes,
but now it's even worse, and worse. I mean, like more advanced, where like you can't tell if it was a person or not. Yeah, it's not so deep.
But anyway, it's fucking ridiculous. Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I need it.
Anyway, Marcus, now that you're fully recovered, what's trending this week?
All right, my man. So back to business here. Drew McIntyre has been in the news quite a bit lately regarding his contract. WrestlePurist, as of now, Drew McIntyre has still not signed a new contract with WWE. There had been some Twitter rumors indicating he had resigned, but according to what he and WWE have told people, that's not true. And that source is Fightful Select right there. So, Putty, I have to ask, what's the deal here? What's the holdup? Does WWE even want to re-sign Drew McIntyre at this point?
Yeah, I think so. Why wouldn't you want to? He's a big name, huge presence, former world champion, carried you through the Thunderdome era, the Performance Center era, well documented this past Monday on Raw. Yeah, why wouldn't you want to resign him? He's a fucking huge talent. You let him go when he wasn't ready. He came back ready, dominated, made a name of himself, came back. Why wouldn't you want to resign him? So I don't know what the holdup is here. Is it money? Is it contract length? I don't know what the holdup is. I'm hoping they figure it out because I'm not sure. I think his contract ends before WrestleMania sometime, right?
Correct. I don't necessarily know, Putty. Like, I hear what you're saying. I think you bring up some good points from the heart,
Thank you.
I think they do like Drew McIntyre. I think a lot of people do. However, it could be a financial decision here. This is under new management. Ari Emanuel is now in control. He's the CEO. And I think it has nothing to do whether like, hey, you've done some great work for us, blah, blah, blah. You're a great talent. It could be a money thing. I think that's bottom line what it's going to be. Drew McIntyre, I don't necessarily know if it's him. I would find it hard to believe that it's him, playing hardball or wanting to go somewhere else because he did that already. Yep. He worked so hard to bust his ass to climb back up to get back to WWE and become a champion, become a main eventer. He did that. Why would he want to leave? Unless, to see if he could do an AEW, maybe, possibly. I don't buy that. I think, honestly, with Nick Khan at the helm as well, Nick Khan has been known to slash big contracts before in the past and just to save money, to save face here. Ari Emanuel is a numbers guy as well. It might make financial sense for them to say goodbye to Drew McIntyre because honestly, if it's a big deal contract, you would expect more, I hate to say, from Drew McIntyre then. You'd expect him to be on the Roman Reigns level, which he's not.
No, yeah, he's not in a position to be asking for big money. So it can't be the money thing unless he's asking for more than they think he's worth. Not huge numbers, but maybe they're giving him $1 million. He asking for $2 million, just pulling numbers out of the air here. I don't know. I really don't know. I hope they resign him. He's doing a great job. Did a great job. Maybe he does want to go to AEW, or maybe he wants to. We see what they're doing over there. They don't really handle WWE guys that well.
No, they do not.
It's a very minority. Mm-hmm. So he went down there, dominated an Impact World Champion, recreated himself, and that would let him back to WWE. Maybe he wants to just test the waters again. Again, we don't know. No one knows anything. This is a very tight-lipped story. We don't know whose balls the court in.
I mean, the fact that they're talking indicates that there's a want there, on both sides. There's been nothing saying like a contract's not happening. It just back and forth saying like, he resigned, he didn't resign, blah, blah, blah. So that says to me that they're talking, that they're negotiating. Again, it wouldn't make sense with all the bullshit that Drew McIntyre went through to get back. It doesn't make sense for him to want to leave unless he feels like he's being slighted for money. He's not getting what he thinks he's worth.
That's the only thing here.
Right? That has to be the thing.
Yeah. I don't know what else. It could be. It has to come down to money or maybe length of contract. Maybe he's asking for $5 million over 5 years, and they're giving him $5 million over 10 or whatever. Extreme example. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I just hope they work this out. I think losing Drew McIntyre will be a big loss for them.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think it's a big loss. I think it's nothing against Drew McIntyre, but like, has anyone ever left WWE? It's like, wow, that's been such a big loss. Like they just keep on going. Like, like we've said before, like, oh wow, it's going to be a big loss when that person leaves. It really hasn't.
Oh, in that aspect,
who
yes.
was the biggest?
In that aspect, yes. The machine. They say it themselves. The cog keeps moving. If you're not a part of us, we still got to evolve. So yeah, right. I feel like the fans will miss him because then where's he going to go? AEW? And I'm like, okay.
The fans will miss him for a split second. They'll move on. I hate to say it, like, because I do like Drew McIntyre, but like, let's be real, man. Like, Drew McIntyre, he had a decent run during the performance during the COVID era, but then that was really it. He kind of fizzled out.
Did he have a good run because Roman Reigns wasn't in the picture, or did he have a good run because he is deserving of a good? He can have a good run.
Well, we don't know because he never got that shot again. I mean, they kind of tried to when Roman Reigns did come back, but Roman Reigns kind of squandered that. Like he pretty much let everyone know, like, hey, he said in his own words, right? Like, hey, they let you be champion because I wasn't here.
Yeah,
something to the effect of that, and it wound up being very true, very true.
We'll see what
so
happens.
If anything, that diminishes Drew's negotiating power right there. But we do have to move on. It's something to keep an eye on here for that. Going into what we got here, more WWE news. Liv Morgan trending once again. She's been out with injury, but looks like she's coming back. Russell Ops at Russell Ops. Breaking news from WON. Liv Morgan is expected to return from injury to WWE TV soon. Great to hear. Love Liv Morgan. But Putty, can Liv Morgan find herself back in the championship hunt once again when she returns?
It might take some time, but I don't see why not. I mean, they have a 5-woman championship match going on. Well, they had one. I'm sorry, in Crown Jewel. Again, we're recording before Crown Jewel happened. But yeah, I can see her in the picture. I don't know what brand she'll be on, but I see more in SmackDown. They have a more open women's card there, less tiered. So yeah, I think she could. Absolutely. The crowd loves her. They pushed her once. They do it again.
It's interesting because I feel like you were kind of sour on her as champion before.
I wasn't impressed. Not impressed. I wasn't like a biggest fan of Liv Morgan. Never been a big Liv Morgan fan.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something there. The crowd loves her. The company loves her. Or else how does she survive 3 cuts? Unless
she puts in a lot of work. Yeah. I have to say. She's improved like time and time and time again. Like I don't know, man. Like I think I phrased the question wrong. I said championship hunt, right? I think time has proven anyone could be in the hunt. Like even Zelina Vega, who's someone that's been so far away from that hunt, was in the hunt this past year, right? At the pay-per-view in Puerto Rico.
That's why, though.
So anyone could be in the hunt, obviously. So I guess the question, I'll rephrase, will Liv Morgan win the championship when she returns?
No.
Wow. Okay, there it is.
No. Not at all. MJF has you're not on the level of the devil, right? She's not on the level of a Rhea. She's not on the level of a Charlotte. She's not on the level of a Bianca yet. So when she comes back, no. In due time, maybe. Yeah.
What is she missing?
I do not know. But it's like you look at Charlotte Flair, you look at Bianca Belair, you look at Liv Morgan.
So it's the size then? Because Liv Morgan is smaller in stature compared to the other woman that you just mentioned.
It's not the size, it's polish. She's not as polished as they are in the ring. She's not as fluid. She's still like when you're going for a move, you see her brace herself and get into position, then do the move. Sometimes, not all the time. But Charlotte Flair is like watching a waterfall. Bianca Belair is a waterfall. It's sometimes her matches are a little choppy, so it's not as polished yet.
Is it the people that she's worked with? I mean, like when she was champion, she predominantly worked with Ronda Rousey. Was it just like the chemistry wasn't there per se? Because she's had she had a really good match with Becky Lynch. She had really good matches with Charlotte Flair. I feel like the rivalry with her and Rhea Ripley could right itself when she returns.
Yeah, and Can we give her like a legit storyline, please? Mm-hmm. She had that rivalry with Ronda Rousey, and it was a David versus Goliath story. Ronda Rousey could destroy Liv Morgan easily at 100%. But yet they had to give her the whole broken arm or arm injury angle, and Ronda just kept attacking the arm over and over again. So give her like legit. That soured me on her. I think that was what it was, because it didn't showcase her being taken seriously.
Well, that's not really her, though. That's creative.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's her. I'm saying it's the way she's being presented. Then she loses because, like, the third match in a row, her arm. All right. So if she comes back, give me a legit, 100% healthy, long-term story, then I might buy into her.
All right. I could respect that. I think the same could be said about anyone, though, having like a legit story. You know, I do agree with that. I feel like she wasn't given the best tools to utilize that championship run. I feel like she did a good job with what she was given as a champion. She was making the appearances. She did a very good job with that. She was doing her duties as champion. I wish I could have seen more of that. I do hope to see her back in the hunt again. I do hope to see her win it again at some point, because I feel like she's improved quite a bit. I'm curious to see what she looks like and how she does when she gets back. I'm excited to see her back, man. I think it's going to be good for the women's division, because, again, I think there's a lot of stories that could be told there with that. But moving on, Putty, going over here to John Cena. John Cena has been making a lot of news lately based on his return, but he's also been doing a lot of press, and he had this to say about a certain champion of WWE, WrestlePurist at WrestlePurist, quoting John Cena. He has done it better than anybody I have ever seen. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. That is John Cena on Roman Reigns on his interview on After the Bell. Putty, John Cena has often been referred to as the Babe Ruth by Vince McMahon himself of WWE, of professional wrestling. Now, John Cena is kind of passing that torch to Roman Reigns with these comments here. So who is it, in your opinion? Who is the best to do it? Is it John Cena or is it Roman Reigns?
Shawn Michaels. But in comparing these two, it's hard to say who the greatest of all time is when you're two current people, when the careers aren't over yet.
True.
It's hard to call Derek
Jeter
the greatest.
One we're getting to. Yeah, okay.
It's hard to call Derek Jeter the greatest shortstop of all time until he retired. That's coming from a Mets fan, but whatever. The card is rarely stacked in favor of John Cena. How can you compare the two? Like John Cena, 16-time world champion, 20-something plus year career, and showed up every week, showed up every month. There was no asterisk next to his name, like there is with Barry Bonds for some fucking reason. Roman Reigns is dominant. He's been built to be dominant. Great storyline, great people around him. Hasn't won too many matches cleanly. Barely shows up. We're not going to see Roman Reigns until Royal Rumble now. So of course when you think 1,200 days as champion, but yet we're going to not see him for 90 days. John Cena hands down.
Wow.
I'm a Roman Reigns fan. I'm wearing his merch right now. I love Roman Reigns. I love what he's doing. But
right.
It's just the fact that John Cena was more consistent. And Roman Reigns was in the beginning. But it's just John Cena showed up week in and week out. 16-time champion. Again, there's 1,200 days. But when you go 90 days between championship defenses, it's easy to rack up that numbers.
So would you say Roman Reigns is the Barry Bonds if you're comparing to baseball then?
I guess if you want to make a comparison. I like Barry Bonds. I don't think there should be an asterisk next to his name. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think if he's not, it's a disgrace to the Hall of Fame. Shout out to Barry Bonds. But, yeah, I guess so. Because there's that asterisk. He doesn't defend it. He's, again, taking 3 months off. Okay. Then you're going to rack up easily 1,500 days and have 2 title defenses? Impressive. Okay. Great. Thanks. From what I understand, Bruno Sammartino, there's a huge fly in my house. Bruno Sammartino did it, but he was defending it week in and week out at MSG or the circuits. And this is no disrespect, because I love Roman Reigns. But if I had to compare the two, my man John Cena easily.
Has anyone ever said why Roman Reigns is not defending as much? Because It's not like it's an age thing. The one thing that keeps circling back in my mind here, and you bring up great points about John Cena. It's hard to debate that. You mean 16-time world champion. You talked about all the accolades that he's done in professional wrestling, but yeah, you also didn't talk about what he's done outside of professional wrestling for the business. You know, as far as like the Make-A-Wish Foundation alone.
You stop there.
He's done with
you
that.
can stop right there.
You could just,
yeah.
Right. Which is absolutely amazing. You know, you love or hate his character, but as a man, as a person, you got to respect that. What he's doing for Hollywood. Yeah, I know his last movie, It's getting horrible reviews. Not going to talk about it, but like,
can you?
Yeah,
he's going.
I can't talk about it. I literally can't talk about it. I can't even mention a name. But going the Rock route, but still, like, that brings eyes to WWE. The one thing Roman Reigns can say that he has done that John Cena can't, and hopefully never will, is that Roman Reigns beat cancer.
Okay, going that angle. Okay.
But it's true. It's true. The man, why did he disappear, right, for so long? Because he was dealing, his leukemia came back came back from remission. Excuse me, I was losing my words there. He beat that, came back, and was better than ever, right? No one's really saying like why he's been taking these breaks. Is it because of that? Is it because they want to preserve him? Because, battling leukemia takes a shitload out of you.
Yeah, I can't say anything to that subject. It was been 3 years ago, though. I've not heard anything that is any correlation to back that up. But then I also heard nothing that negates that either. Again, they're not saying anything. I've not heard any reason.
They're not saying that, and I'm not saying that. I'm not accusing of anything that or starting a rumor that his leukemia might be coming back, whatever. No, he took that time off, and it wasn't. If you think about it, for what he was dealing with, it wasn't honestly a very lengthy time off. No. He was dealing with that shit. He was dealing with it, and thankfully he overcame it. But how much of a toll did that take from him is what I'm saying. And did that necessarily take years off his career to do so?
Can't answer that.
That's what I wonder.
Maybe it's possible.
And if a medical expert is listening to our show or watching our show, I would love to hear more about that. Of as far as how that recovery would factor into this. But there's got to be a reason, because Roman Reigns is not that old.
No,
and for him to take so much time off makes me wonder what is going on there with that. Or is it just from a business aspect, as far as hey, the more time he's away, the longer the days add up for him to break another milestone here? Could it be that aspect, which is kind of cheap, but that's not Roman Reigns' fault.
The feeling that I have is that anybody they put in front of Roman Reigns for the last 1,200 plus days, he beats. Having him show up week in and week out, month in and month out, PLE after PLE, and dominating everybody, it's going to get stale. So, plus, if he's going to beat everybody, okay, let me beat Kevin Owens for the 4th time in 13 months. So these breaks, I think, are meant to, I beat everybody. I don't need to be here week in and week out. Keep the character fresh. That's what I originally was thinking. But when you bring up this whole physicality thing, maybe, I don't know.
I'm honestly not too sure. I do wonder these things. I've been wondering that for a bit. I just never vocalized it. But, I know a lot of people think it's stale right now. I, for one, and I don't even know if I'm in the minority, really. It just seems like it's a 50-50 split as far as people who think it's stale and people who think it's not stale. I don't necessarily believe that they're in the 3rd inning here, as Paul Heyman would say. I do feel like they're a little further along. But
bottom of the 7th.
Right. It's somewhere around there. I think that's a good gauge, because it's still entertaining. They're still finding ways to keep it fresh. And now you have rumors of another cousin possibly coming in, who just requested release from MLW. So, different ways here to go.
And also, we'll see how that goes. But the point where we talk about, too, is whoever beats him now is going to catapult them into the stratosphere. So they got to find the right person to beat him. Maybe they haven't found the right person yet. Or who needs it.
And by the way, just because he loses doesn't necessarily mean his career is over. There's still left. I would hope that there's still more left to go for Roman Reigns. So as you said, they're both technically active. I think one's on their way out sooner than the other. But I guess you would have to give the edge to John Cena for a little bit for all the things that we discussed and then some. But Roman Reigns, if John Cena is 1A, then Roman Reigns is 1B right there.
I'm kind of actually more interested and intrigued on Roman Reigns, the character, after he loses. What happens next? What does he do next? I'm actually interested to watch that more as the time goes on.
It could be a la for our BCW faithful here that listen to us, kind of like when Darius Carter lost his championship. That to me became more interesting as far as him chasing the title again. and became more dangerous. So I'd be curious about that. But Putty, that's all I have for the news. But I do have an interview here, man. A first timer here on Shot of Wrestling.
Oh, wow. I always like the first timers. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, she's a trailblazer along with an ass kicker. She is the first trans wrestler to compete in Impact and NWA. Give it up for Jamie Senegal.
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. You killed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people, they love my intros. I always want to do it up for my guests here. Someone especially like you, and I have a lot of respect for you. As I mentioned, trailblazer without a doubt. So let's talk about trans wrestling in general right now, because it's hotter than ever, right? It's made a lot of strides. Do you feel, are you happy with the way it's been right now, or do you still feel like there's a lot left to go?
I'm really happy I think there's always an uphill battle. I'm really happy with where we're at, because I think that compared to where it was when I started, I think we're about almost at the peak. Just in terms of just there being more people, more inclusion. When I started, there was only a handful of queer people in general that were at least open in wrestling. And I think that there's more people now, which creates more space for talk, which makes less room for people to say you can't be on the show, because there's too many people that they can't say no at this point.
That's amazing. You love to see it. Did you have a lot of that at first, like people saying no just because of who you are?
Yes and no, because I do genuinely feel like I was blessed with a really beautiful career especially in the beginning of my career. I feel like I got a lot of opportunities that honestly, I never felt ready for some of the opportunities that I was handed to in the beginning of my career. And I think that's such a blessing. And then on the other end, there was a lot of people not willing to book a queer person or use queer people at all. And I did deal with that quite a bit. But it just was like a fire under my ass, if I can say that.
Feel free to curse away.
But it just kind of lit a fire underneath me and made me want to work harder, and it kind of made us all come together and create space for ourselves in the industry. And I love that it's now being taken seriously, because I feel as though during the time when I was younger, when I would try to talk about it, people didn't care because they didn't believe it, because it wasn't, there was only a couple of us. So it wasn't in your face for you to see it, to believe that would even happen. So now that there's so many people, there's not room for disbelief, and there's no room for intolerant people.
No, absolutely. It seems like if you still are intolerant towards trans wrestling right now as a promotion, it seems like you're going to be left in the dust at this point, because you talk about strictly from like a business aspect, it's money right there. You're saying no to money.
Yeah. Naturally, people go against the grain. And what I think is so cool about the queer community is that we have always gone against the grain. We have never tried to join everybody. We've always made our own space. And I think that is amazing. And the fact that we could do that in wrestling is such a big deal, just solely because nothing like that has been done before. Like women's wrestling, yes, but there's a lot more cisgendered people on the planet than there are queer people. You know what I mean? So from an aspect like that, I think it's really crazy to see such a wave being paid, like whatever I'm trying to say right now. The words that are coming out of my mouth are going crazy. I think it's cool to see a path being made for queer people.
Because of that, though, I mean, like, you hear like in sports all the time, but the argument about like, trans athletics in general. Yeah. Does it create kind of like an awkward space, especially in most wrestling promotions? I shouldn't say all, because there's certain wrestling promotions that definitely have a lot of inclusivity when it comes to titles. They're not necessarily so gender specific, but mostly they are gender specific to, a men's championship, a women's championship. Does that create some sort of like gray space?
I think it used to, for sure. I think there was a time in my career where, when I was technically a gay boy, I was still very femme presenting and only wanted to be in women's wrestling at that time. And I had long hair and I wore makeup and I looked the part. So I just didn't understand why I wouldn't be allowed to wrestle women. And I could not for the life of me understand that. So I think now, in general, intergender wrestling is so widely acceptable versus when I started, that there's not really even time for that discussion to really even happen, because if men can wrestle women, then trans people can wrestle men and women and whoever they want. And I think that's so awesome, and I love that, because I remember being a little gay boy and all I wanted to do was wrestle my favorite women's wrestlers, and it was like pulling teeth to try to get matches with girls. I remember the first time I wrestled a girl, I was so happy. I literally like cried. I was so happy.
Who was it with?
It was Lufisto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell of a first match to have with a woman.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like 3 days freshly 18 years old. It was like my first or second ever match on a show, and I was in a triple threat with my old trainer and Lufisto, and I was so nervous because I respected and loved her so much because I followed her for so long, and she whooped my ass, but it's okay because she's my auntie. So
Now let's dive into that aspect of it, of like, you know, people that you've looked up to in wrestling. You know, you always talk about, like, you know, you are Daffney's daughter, right?
Yeah.
So it's obviously a huge influence in your career. You know, what are some things you carry with you today from Daffney? What have you learned from some other people who have inspired you along the way?
I feel like from Daff, the one thing I really took, she for so long always gave me so much advice, and we would talk on the phone for hours and hours and hours every time, like every day. And the one thing I think that really resonated with me is just her bubbliness. Like, I feel like that's something that I carry along with, because I always felt like almost like we were like mimicking each other with how just happy we were all the time. And it's so weird. Like, that's so weird. It's so strange to see people that are genuinely just always up here, like, and not phoning it in, just so happy. And that's how she was. And I think that she taught me to kind of translate that into work. So I'm not bitter going into work. So I'm not stressed out knowing I have to do all of this before a show day. So that way I can relax and I can just have fun and enjoy my journey. And she taught me a lot of that. But she also used to tell me not to do too much of that too, because you don't want to give it all away. You want to be a mystery to people.
I mean, like, I'm sure anyone that's listening right now would ask. It's like, you know, as an actor myself, I love everything about it, but, you know, there are definitely some hard days coming to work.
Yeah.
What was like one tip that you would give to someone, like, you know, how to change that mindset going into, like, you know, a hard day?
I like to say, like, have a tether, you know? So if there's some, I'm going to keep it 100. There's some days where I know I'm going into like a weekend of shows or even a show, and I just really don't want to do it. Like, I'm just not mindset there to go do it. And my tether would be like watching a Melina match or listening to my favorite theme song or something that takes away the stress of what I'm about to do and just brings back that feeling of like that undying love I have for it. And then it like clears my mind.
That's awesome. It's just like that one little thing, like, you know, that little sense of joy that you get from someone or something.
Yeah. I think that's so important, because, and I'm sure that translates into acting as well. I always wonder, like, because in some ways when you start wrestling, the magic is killed for you. You know what I mean? And in
any aspect of wrestling. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Literally, as if you're in the industry at all, the magic is killed for you. And I think that there's a power. Actually, Sue Young taught me that. She can still watch wrestling like she's a little kid, and in the sense of the magic still being there. I don't know how she has that ability. She does, and it's so awesome to see. And for me, she taught me that. I remember having that conversation. It was her, Luscious, Latasha, and I, and we were on FaceTime talking about it. And me and Luscious were so confused because we were like, how do you have that ability? And I think what you just have to do there is remember so much why you love it, what made you feel this way, and just to be able to remove yourself from everything that involves it, to just literally enjoy what you're seeing. And when you do that, I think that honestly takes away a lot of the bitterness, the stress, the anxiety. I love hard work. I like to train to wrestle twice a week. I love to lift. I like to listen to theme songs when I lift, all the above. But I think that there's something so therapeutical about being able to sit back and watch your favorite wrestler without thinking about the industry. A lot of wrestlers like to pick matches apart when they watch them. And I think that is why people get bitter, because they can't just sit there and watch it as a spectator and a fan.
Oh my Lord. You just hit it right in the head. And it's funny you say that because like my mom actually just recently asked me, I was like, look, why I love wrestling so much. Why would I love it so much to get involved into it? And I told her about the first time I started watching wrestling, like the very first time, talking about 92, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog, SummerSlam. And I just felt like the joy, like the giddiness of being a kid again, watching it for the first time, like, talking to her about it. And she's like, well, there it is. Now I understand. Thank you. It's
love
so funny to talk about that. So like, that's so true what you said.
There's this feeling, and it's like a feeling I used to get in my body when I was a child and I would watch wrestling. And it was like the craziest feeling because I knew wrestling was like this edgy thing. And I just felt so awesome and badass for watching it. And I can never explain what this physical feeling was, but it was like an upwards like motion in my body that just felt like adrenaline almost, and like to the point where I could smell it, what I was watching, because I loved it that much. And that feeling comes back when I watch some of my favorite wrestlers like Melina or Daffney, or if I play like SmackDown versus Raw 2006 or 2008.
Oh my
like
Lord, let's go.
when I see Tori Wilson on the old Raw stage in SmackDown versus Raw 2006, that hits me. That feeling comes back, and I die for that feeling because that is a feeling I've only had when I was a kid watching wrestling. So when I can get to pull that back, it's almost like it's like raw energy. It's crazy.
Girl, I am stealing that from you going forward. Like, that little tether as you talked about, because just even this conversation alone, I'm just like, whoa, I'm in the zone. I'm so happy.
I think it's really beneficial to like acting and to the music industry too, because I really wonder for like actors and for musicians, everybody, you know what I mean? Like how is it not hard to, like, I know for me, I'm so passionate about movies. I love movies. I feel like if I became an actress, I would lose that magic and movies would be ruined for me unless I had a good tether.
See, no, it doesn't though. Like, there's still, like, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I could still like walk onto a set. And like, sometimes you go into a soundstage and it's all kind of about the same, but like, there's sometimes you go into a set and you're just absolutely blown away. Like, whoa, like you just feel that energy still. And of course, so like, like it's other stuff that kind of makes it like, oh, it's going to be a day. It's like an early call time, people running behind, things just not going the way that you're supposed to, like. In filmmaking, if one thing goes wrong, anything can go wrong. And then there's also the business side of it, and strike right now, for example. So there are other things out there, but like, no, there's still a lot of joy left in there. Like where the magic isn't completely gone. And wrestling could be the same way, though. I mean, I feel like wrestling and acting are so similar like that, because like
so similar
when you're in it, like there are definitely days. It depends also what promotion you go to. Like, you can run into a locker room full of like people that just, the energy's down, and you kind of feel that the same way could be on a set.
No, that makes perfect sense. I kind of learned the idea of a tether just because I really love Madeline Petch. I love Riverdale. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. I love Riverdale. Me and Penelope Ford are Riverdale fiends, and I love Madeline Petch, and I would watch her on YouTube and think like, wow, because she has a YouTube channel, and I would be like, wow, she's so amazing. Like, she's sitting here so passionately watching these movies and crying. I feel it because me just knowing how hard it can be to wrestle, I was like, that's so amazing. And it kind of made me take a step back and like look into what can I do to still have that magic and not take away what I enjoy.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I feel like there's a lot of positivity that, anyone that's in the wrestling industry or acting industry or anyone in the arts can, like, take from this. It's the mindset, man. It's all about the mindset, and I'm so glad that you shared that. Moving on, because we're wrapping things up here. I could talk to you all day here, but I have to know. I have to know. Like, I've done some homework on you. I understand you are a big Britney Spears fan.
I am. I love Britney Spears so much. I really do.
All right. Well, with that being said, I have to ask. First off, top 3 songs, go.
That's so. My songs are weird. I love When I Found You off of the Britney album, the self-entitled album. I love Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know, and I really love Overprotected.
Wow. Oh, those are low key. Very low key
Yeah.
right there. Like,
And my other one this is like my underlying, like, this is my underlying one that's low key my favorite above all those, but you only know it when I'm lit because it's a lit song. I Got That Boom Boom with the Ying Yang Twins. And I think it's so crazy. Mickey James has a song with the Ying Yang Twins, and Britney has a song with the Ying Yang Twins, so they're kind of like related in music terms.
I think that's a huge compliment for Britney Spears.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's amazing. That's when you know you're a real Britney fan right there. Like,
Yeah.
there are people that will claim they're Britney Spears fans. I guarantee you, there are a couple people out there like, what songs are those?
Yeah.
You ain't a real Britney fan then.
Yeah. You don't. That's my saying. I always go, you don't.
You know. Now, I know wrestling, like, you know, Chris Jericho talks about this too with his character, especially with this evolution, taking things outside of wrestling from like, you know, from pop culture, bring it into who they are. Was that the case for you for Britney Spears?
Absolutely. My favorite things on the planet are Britney Spears, Rock of Love, and Jennifer Coolidge, and Daisy of Love, but that falls under Rock of Love. So for me, this especially hit when I got my top surgery done, when I got my boobies. I was sitting at home and I kind of was sad that I couldn't wrestle for a long time. So I muted everything that had to do with wrestling on my social media to just clear my mind. I was living in the middle of the desert and just looking at like the Pussycat Dolls and old Britney performances and watching Rock of Love and seeing all these awesome things. And I was sitting there like, wow, this is kind of like what I feel like I'm missing in my character, in my look, in this and that. And I really sat back and realized, for at least in my aspect of me personally, what I feel wrestling's missing for me. And having that like 6 months in the middle of the desert doing nothing to do with wrestling, I never thought about it, which was crazy. It's the first time in almost 10 years I haven't thought about wrestling. It gave me an entire new perspective on the industry. Coming back in after that, it gave me new fresh ideas, and I came up with this whole entire new look because I was watching all this stuff and I was like, wow, I haven't seen anything like that done in so long. But like being able to, I think, take it and make it fresh, which I think came with being away from everything, because my goal here was to just do it in a way, like, because my gear, I love it. I would wear it on the streets. I don't think it looks like wrestling gear. I think it looks like something that you wear at a club. I think it looks like something you would wear on stage if you're a pop star. So I was just trying to think like, what makes Britney so relatable that people love her? What makes Daisy De La Hoya so relatable that people love her? So I was just really trying to do that and figure out how to incorporate that.
I love it. And it works so well. And it seems like so organic with like who you are as a person. So like, you know, it's working. So keep on slaying. Again, I feel like I could talk to you all day. Unfortunately, like we are wrapping up here. Before I let you go though, like, tell the audience, shoot your shot. What do you have going on? What do you have coming up next?
Whew, okay, well, this weekend I have a show at the Sanctuary in Hazleton, Pennsylvania on Friday. Saturday, I'm wrestling. Ace Austin is running a show in Conrad Weiser High School in Pennsylvania, which is ironically a show 20 minutes away from the school I went to, because for people that don't know, me and Ace Austin have been pals since we were both 14. So he's doing that show and I'm performing at that show. I'm wrestling Mean Gia Miller, and that's exciting because my whole hometown crowd is going to be there. Then
That's awesome.
That Sunday, yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Then that Sunday, I'm going to be at the Sanctuary again. And then I fly to Hawaii and I have Oos Wrestling on Thursday next week. So I'm lit about that one. I leave Hawaii, go straight to Arizona, and I have a signing on Saturday the 11th at 3D Sports in Glendale. It's either in Glendale or in Phoenix. Then that day I have a show, IZW in Glendale. Then I come home to Dayton. I'm based out of Dayton now. And the next day I have a show. I can't remember. Don't quote me. I think it's XVW in Dayton on the 14th. And then I go to Boston, and then I'll have WrestleCade weekend.
Boom, WrestleCade. That's the big one right there. That's the big one.
WrestleCade, anybody who knows me knows WrestleCade Jamie is a beast.
And how so? Now I have to ask, how so?
I have drank Winston-Salem dry so many times in my life, every WrestleCade, and I lead the party everybody knows once WrestleCade comes around to come find me, and we will be skating in the parking lots, eating all the pizza, drinking all the alcohol. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like a must-go event. WrestleCade, obviously a big deal. WrestleCade with Jamie, bigger deal. Get your tickets now for all the shows that she has coming up, if it is in your area, of course. Jamie, once again, lovely having you. Thank you for coming on to the show. Would love to have you back again. You're always more than welcome. In the meantime, back to Michael J. Putty for TV Takedown.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown. Like I just said, I always enjoy the first timers. You're gentle. Good interview. Thank you, Jamie, for your time. I always love learning about new people, and this was a good one. Good job.
Yeah, man. Hey, fellow Britney fan, you know?
Damn right.
Yeah, dude. What are your top 3 Britney songs?
Oof. It's a fucking tough one. How do you just throw that at me? Like,
Jamie just did it.
Yeah, but I'm not prepared for that one. Ugh.
I like prep her for that.
It's gotta be fucking Toxic is one of them. Hit Me Baby One More Time. That's when you fell in love.
Okay.
I'm a Slave for You.
Oh, okay.
Slave for you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I am saving that for sure.
Please.
That's going up.
Please.
That'll be the first thing that goes up in the Shot Wrestling's TikTok page.
I have absolutely no problem about that. Please, the more the merrier. Spread it out. Let that fandom go out there into the newly single Britney Spears. Yeah, hit me up. Slide into the DMs at Michael J. Putty.
Oh my man, I love it.
Anyway, moving on. I talk about Britney Spears all day. If you want to start go down that road, no problem. What was the book coming out? Where's Justin Timberlake? Nowhere in hiding. Of course he's in hiding. I would be too if I was him. Cry me a river. Now you get me started. What was trending in TV this week, please?
Right. So, The Miz. There were reports of The Miz turning babyface. Right. We heard that earlier on in the week. Well, Monday Night Raw kind of happened. WrestleOps at WrestleOps. Well, seems we're indeed getting a babyface turn for The Miz up against Gunther. Hashtag WWE Raw. As you saw, the hell of a promo, by the way, between both men, Gunther and The Miz, during Miz TV. Putty, what do you think about The Miz turning face? Is it the right move?
Any move The Miz does is good. Yeah, I think this is the right move. How many times has he been babyface? One real babyface run against Shane McMahon?
Yeah, 2. Yeah, well, that one was like the one that was...
And he killed it.
Way better.
And the crowd got behind him. Going against someone like Shane McMahon, it's easy to get the crowd behind you. I think he's a good babyface. He showed he can be a good babyface. He showed it here. Turned the switch on a dime. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious where this goes. What this could lead to. Partnership with DIY is interesting.
That's the one. That's the question mark for me.
Reuniting Miz and Ciampa. So I'm curious. I'm just very curious where this goes, where this plays off, and where they're going to it, and what the end result is going to be. Because I don't see him winning the IC title, obviously.
No. So, I do like the angle they're going with, though, with the Miz and Gunther. You know, kind of a la like, you know, AEW, the sports entertainer versus the wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, I find it interesting, though, that right now the sports entertainer is the one that's the babyface.
Well, look what company we're in. Yeah. The company that births the sports entertainers. So it's an interesting dynamic here. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. That's the one thing that's different. And then, you know, The Miz, I mean, you're right. The Miz, except for his first face run, that was probably the one thing that was like not necessarily great in his career. But The Miz does tend to knock things out of the park with whatever role that he's put in from WWE. And like, you know, that promo was fire, man. You know, when The Miz speaks, and is he scripted, you think, or you think he says they give him that leeway to speak from?
I'm sure he's given a script, but if he's not given any leeway, then I don't know who is. I think he earned it. If he hasn't earned it by now, then he never will. But so I'm assuming that he does have some sort of leeway to veer off in certain to react to what Gunther's saying, react to the crowd. He has
because that seemed very similar, or at least the passion of it was very similar to his promo with Daniel Bryan back on was it the SmackDown after show? I forgot what it was called now.
Talking
With
Smack.
Renee Young. Talking Smack, thank you. But am I wrong in that? Like,
No.
It was like the same type of energy.
Yeah, definitely. And it is that needed that kind of energy to emphasize the turn and getting things got personal. And yeah, it was very intriguing to watch Miz massively go through that segment from the slimy, weaselly Miz that everyone hates to this empathetic guy who just got embarrassed by the champion. It was very well done.
Right.
I'm looking forward to face Miz.
Does this do you think that opens the door for Maurice to come back or no? Or is it they're more so working with him in DIY?
I think
DIY.
I think that. I mean, Maurice has come back a couple times for appearances here and there, but there was a payoff to that. I don't see there's no female member of Imperium to get involved with or for her to get scrap up with.
True.
Unless they add somebody, which I don't see that happening. But this should be very, very intriguing. Like, will the Miz won't be the leader of DIY. He's going to have to work in a team for the first time in his career. So it should be interesting, that dynamic as well. There's so many more aspects that can go with this and the Miz character.
I don't think this is going to lead to him winning the IC title from Gunther, though.
No, not at all.
Like, I don't see that happening.
I don't think.
Like, I think the wrestler here is going to win. Like, I don't see a path for the Miz. So then, what's the purpose then? You know, what's the long term game plan with that? That's what I don't know. Is it to build DIY up?
Maybe, because who's better than the Miz in your corner, talking for you? Miz more matchups against. Now he's going against the heels on Raw. More matchups, new matchups. Maybe him versus Shinsuke Nakamura. That'd be a cool match. Something different, fresh, new, something we've never seen before. So the
thing is, when he was face, so he was face for a reason with Shane. Like, I don't necessarily know like how long of a face run Miz can go because he's just a natural heel.
Oh yeah, so I'm saying I'm very intrigued on where they're going with this.
You're right. What
the end result is going to be, because the end result of this storyline is going to be him being a heel again, but it's on the cost of who?
Right. Because like the Miz is the Weasel, man. Like, you know, that's where he's best suited. Yes, he can play a face, but he's much more natural as heel. I'm curious to see where this goes, but I feel like this is going to be short lived. Moving on though, Putty, to NXT. Trick Williams made his return. And it caused a whole shitload of talk here on the Twitterverse. Public Enemies Podcast at the Enemies PE3. You see the look on Carmelo's face when Trick Williams returns. Public Enemy says, yeah, Carmelo Hayes did that shit. Hashtag WWE NXT. What do you think? Fact or fiction? Carmelo Hayes is guilty as charged for the assault of Trick Williams.
We're led to believe he was guilty. The interactions before the attack, the interactions even before this was even a concept of Trick wanting to break away, build his own character, build his own man, winning the NXT North American Championship for a day or 2 days or whatever it was. So yeah, all signs point to Carmelo Hayes here. And obviously he was the obvious choice, right?
Right.
Is it too obvious?
Kind of like the Shawn Michaels Triple H angle from many moons ago.
Too obvious?
That's the thing, right? Is it too obvious?
But then sometimes stories are obvious because it's obvious. And if Carmelo did not do that, he wouldn't be shocked to see Trick back. If Carmelo did not do that, Trick would not be so serious. So yeah, this seems to, and the way they cliffhanger ending it leads us like, wait, maybe, what? But yeah, it's had to be fact that Carmelo did it because the way they just set it up. Who else could it have been? If it wasn't Carmelo, the scene would not have unfolded as it did. So yeah, it had to be fact.
The one thing that I could say for Carmelo Hayes' sake is that, yeah, everyone's pointing the finger at Carmelo Hayes. It's the obvious choice. Did Trick see who assaulted him to begin with?
Good question.
You know, is Trick jumping to conclusions and listening to everyone?
Also,
you think that Carmelo did it?
That's a good angle I didn't think about. Because now because look at the cliffhanger ending. Well, how did NXT end? With Baron Corbin attacking somebody from behind. So maybe, yeah. I didn't even think about that angle. Maybe he thinks it was Carmelo. But I don't see the Baron Corbin angle here yet. But maybe that's something I'm more intrigued about now as well. That's a different dynamic. I'm more intrigued about that going forward.
Because it could probably lead to even like a match right?
Yeah.
Because Trick is pissed off Carmelo. Then we eventually find out who really did it. Maybe it was Baron Corbin. Maybe it was someone else.
Yeah.
And it rekindles their friendship again. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that would be more interesting.
Much more.
Because, like,
much more.
Because we've seen this before. Like, I mentioned Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and that was brilliantly done.
Mm-hmm.
That was so well done. And if they decide to go that route again, I mean, that was just many moons ago. If they want to try to recreate that magic here with Trick and Carmelo, I still think that could work. And that would be fine. I think the fans would eat it up. But, like, if they want to use what worked from that angle and try to, like, add little nuggets and little wrinkles and make it their own here, that could be a way to go to make it more intriguing and to build people in and bring other people into this storyline and make everyone a lot of money.
Exactly. Again, it was too obvious to be Carmelo. They're painting it now to be obvious, to be obvious Carmelo. But what you're describing would be more intriguing long-term story-wise. So, yeah, I'm hoping they go that route. Because now to be Carmelo is, oh, okay, yeah, duh. I hate those does. I like to be swerved and tricked. So, no pun intended.
The one thing that's going against my theory is Carmelo's reaction, though. His reaction was like, oh, shit, I fucked up.
Or it could have been like, oh, shit, he's here. What's he doing here? Why does he look so angry? Why didn't he tell me he was going to be here?
Could be. Yeah. Could be. I feel like we're talking about a soap opera, right?
Like Sands of the Hourglass.
Isn't that what wrestling's supposed to be? Just like, a soap opera for men. Like, I feel like that's a component that's been missed a lot in wrestling. Like, I feel like AEW doesn't do as much.
It's a lost art, yeah. Storytelling.
It is.
The drama, the sex, the intrigue, the scandal.
And you look who's running a show in NXT. Like, no wonder why we're getting this. That's awesome.
As someone who used to watch a soap opera, the whole sexist, anybody can watch soap operas, please. It's 2023, please.
No, I know. But
that
was the old
Relax.
saying. Yeah. It was the old saying about wrestling. I'm just saying. But anyway, Putty, dude, that's all I have for TV. We're pre-recording before Crown Jewel, so a lot of things that happened during the week was for Crown Jewel. Obviously, we can't talk about that because, hey, we're not mind readers. We don't know what's going on here.
I do.
Crown Jewel. Yeah,
I do. Ellie and I got robbed. Congratulations to Logan Paul. John Cena putting over Solo like he did.
Farewell to John Cena.
Congratulations, Rhea Ripley in a hard-fought contest. Io Sky retains. I don't know any of the matches. But, yeah, should be fun. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Cody Rhodes?
Oh, yeah, Cody Rhodes versus who? Oh, yeah, your boy, Damian Priest.
He's not my boy.
He was your boy. He won your watch like 2-3 years ago. I did not go back. I'll do it next week. He was on my short list of ones to watch. Since you picked him, I picked Raquel Rodriguez. That was it. Both successful choices. So I know you're going back on yours. You're doing a good job.
I mean, I just... we talked about it enough last week. But, yeah, Putty, that's all I got, man. AEW, there wasn't a lot enough trending on there. Unless you want to talk about Adam Cole's beard, which I have no interest in doing.
Do not.
Yeah.
Nothing in AEW trending this week, huh? MJF?
Nothing really, man. Not a whole lot, man. It was Adam Cole's beard. A lot of hype about Toni Storm, which we've talked endlessly about. Like, she's doing magnificent work, and everyone's, giving her flowers, rightfully deserved, on Twitter. But nothing a whole lot for us to discuss because we've already discussed it. Toni Storm is kicking ass, and I love it.
All right, Marcus, it's time to get into some go-home thoughts, my friend. Usually, I throw it to you, but now I'm going to start off go-home thoughts, and when it's go-home thoughts started by me, it's heavy stuff. I was never really into Halloween as an adult, right? Sometimes I would go to Halloween parties and not dress up. For some reason, I don't care about Halloween that too much. There was a little streak there I was when I got invited to Halloween parties with friends, and I had to get dressed up. Especially part of a fraternity, we had to go to Halloween parties every year. And I didn't care about dressing up. I don't know why. I just didn't feel comfortable. I don't give a shit. I just want to go, party, have fun, have a good time. So I went as myself. Had jeans on. Sometimes it would be a V-cut sweater, maybe a button-down shirt. People would ask me, what's your costume supposed to be? I think he used it like 5 times. Chandler Bing. Could it be any more obvious? Right? So the loss of Matthew Perry this past week is just something that's, you can't put into words. It's, again, I hate talking about it when a celebrity dies. We did it like a year ago with Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger. But this one fucking sucks, dude. This one sucks.
Yeah.
It hurts. I did not know the man. I knew Chandler Bing. I knew him from other TV shows, but it's weird to see somebody die and you don't know, and it just affects you so much. And this is really sad, and I know a lot of people are sad. My timelines are blowing up with pictures of him and stories and tributes in honor of him from people who don't know him as well. This guy has such an impact on people's lives. He will be missed. He will be missed.
He will. I mean, like, he's touched a lot of people. We learned about a lot of cool things that he's done, unfortunately, after he died that we weren't necessarily aware of for people, especially with substance abuse.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things. Like, he said himself, like, he doesn't necessarily want to be known for his work, per se, but, like, what he's done for people.
Which is gladly coming out the last 7 days.
Yeah.
So it's good.
It makes me think, man, like, I really wish, like, we know more about that stuff when the person's alive. I feel like way too often we only find out about that, like, after they pass.
It's sad.
It's like,
sad, yeah.
I want to know about this stuff, because, like, I say time and time again, it doesn't matter what you do, right? Like, no one's going to remember what you do. They're not going to remember how much money you've made. They're going to remember how you make them feel. That's what people carry with them forever. And Matthew Perry made a lot of people feel great in his own way, whether he touched them directly, whether he helped them out, whether he was a good friend, a family member, castmate. But then for most of us and how we knew him was through laughter, being entertained, because he made us feel good. He had a widely successful TV show that played for years on the network.
Decades. Still to this day in syndication.
Which I'm not allowed to say the name of.
Oh,
Putty,
okay.
you can. But
Friends.
Yes.
Warner Brothers. Friends.
And, we grew up with that. How often do people come home from a shitty day of work or a shitty week and they turn that on and they just feel for a half hour a little bit better about themselves, a little bit better about life. They forget about things for a while. And that was a lot thanks to him. And I know he doesn't necessarily want to be remembered for his work, but, like, he touched a lot of people using his gifts that was gifted to him from the universe. So he'll always be remembered for that, at least for me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I was a big fan of his show. There's 2 shows he did after Friends. Goon, which is a joke that was actually Go On, and The Odd Couple. I'll watch just because of him. I was a big fan of his. Chandler Bing is one of my favorite, not only characters on the show, but characters in general. Fred and I were talking, we were watching the Frasier reboot. We were talking how he thinks Frasier is a big comedic influence on him, although he doesn't know it. I think growing up watching Frasier and Frasier's wit and his comedic timing was an impact on him. It was funny you mentioned. I think Chandler Bing is one of mine. I hate using that comedic influence because I'm just not an actor, I'm not a comedian. It's just something I use in my daily life. But yeah, there's a quote from one of my favorite movies, Batman Begins. It's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you. So yeah, everyone knows about his demons and his battles and struggles, but he turned that around and made his life's work to help other people. And hear these stories flooding my timeline about these actors and celebrities coming forward saying, he did this for me, he did that for me. What a great dude. And again, it's sad to see these stories coming out when it's too late.
Right.
And the news spoke, I read something today about there's going to be a Matthew Perry Foundation in honor to help people like this. So I didn't read too much into it, so I'm hoping that's true. But rest in peace, Chandler Bing. It's really sad. It's really one of those sad stories that affects you, again, and somebody you don't even know.
Matthew Perry. Hey, rest in peace.
Cheers. So I hijacked that segment. Any go-home thoughts for you, my friend?
No, man, well, dude, I think you wrapped it up pretty well there. What more can I say than that? So for Shot of Wrestling, you can find us at Shot of Wrestling on all forms of social media. We're on YouTube. We're on all forms of podcast broadcasts. I don't know. Wherever you listen to us on, that's good enough for us. Just make sure you give us a rating here, 5 stars preferably, but hey, that's your choice. And make sure you give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. For me, you can follow me on my socials. You can find it at yourfavoriteactor.com. All my social media links are on there. Putty, what about yourself?
When we started the show, Green started doing interviews from people we knew and here in the local tri-state area. And we sent out the plea like, oh, if you know somebody who's not here, maybe California, Texas, Florida, let us know. We want to interview him. And that's how we got the connection with Sammy Guevara. So again, throwing out to you, if you know somebody in your town, your city, your area, your state, who is an up-and-coming rising indie star, please let us know. Send them our way so Mark can do another in-depth, exclusive interview to get them a more mainstream spotlight.
Absolutely, man. Like, Jamie, she's not necessarily in our scene that I interviewed today. We interviewed Laura Frazier last month, a couple months ago, I think. She's California-based. And I'm talking to someone right now in the UK. Interview. So, I don't think that's
Australian.
British.
That's Australian. Never mind.
Yeah. No, I think I just lost the interview now. Thank you for that.
No pleasure. Now I can do it as her. Oh, man, spot of tea. The Beatles. I almost had it. I lost it. I got to work on it. I got it spot on. Michael Caine I'm working on. I'll give it to you next week.
Well, I am Mark Schwann. Thank you for joining the show. This is for Michael J. Putty, for Jamie Senegal. Schwann is out. Cheers.
That's not how the show ends. What's going on here?
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused. Yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.